Welcome to question 5 of the 2011 Mathematical Methods Exam 1. In this video we will be looking at the solution and examination advice for this question. A reminder that this video is in no way endorsed by VCAA. So the probability distribution function for the continuous random variable x is given by f of x, which is a hybrid function as displayed, and for part A we're asked to find the probability that x is less than 3.5. So this question is best done using a graph of the function f. So that's what we're going to do over here first. So we need the function to be graphed between 2 and 4 and it's 0 everywhere else. So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then the function that is 3 take x between 2 and 3 simply looks like this. And the function x take 3 between 3 and 4 will look like this. And it has a point here that's included, and if we put 2 in we get 1 out, so that's going to be 2, 1, and this is going to be 4, 1, and this point here is going to be 3, 0, and again that was the point 4 and that was the point 2. And now just to complete that graph, it is 0 everywhere else, so we just highlight in that that is 0 everywhere else. So the probability that x is less than 3.5 is the area under the curve between 2 and 3.5, which is there. So it's all of this area just here that we need to find. So therefore the probability that we're asked to calculate, and that is x is less than 3.5, is going to equal the area of the first triangle, which is a half, times its base length of 1 times its height of 1. And then we add on to that a half times the base length of the second triangle, which is simply a half because it goes between 3 and 3.5. And then its height is also a half. So that is going to equal 1/2 plus 1 on 8. And that is going to equal 5 on 8. So that is the answer to part A of this question. So from the examiner's report we can see that 70% of students got 0 marks for this question and only 18% of students got full marks. The first method that the examiner's report describes is using triangles, and the second method, which does work, is by using integration on that function. And both results will give you the same answer of 0.625 or 5 on 8. The examiner states that it was very poorly done. Few students understood what the graph of the function actually looked like, or that the probability given by the area under the graph had to be between 0 and 1. Many students gave answers with a negative value or with values greater than 1, and students are reminded that both are impossible when we're considering probabilities. For part B of this question, we're asked to find the probability that x is less than 2.5, given that x is less than 3.5, which we found before to be 5 on 8. So the probability that x is less than 3.5 on the graph was shown to be this region on the previous slide, so the area between 2 and 3.5 on the graph. And now the area that corresponds to the probability of x being less than 2.5 would be this area just in here. So that would be in the purple box, the area that x is less than 2.5. So therefore the probability that x is less than 2.5, given that x is less than 3.5, would be equal to their intersection, which is simply the probability that x is less than 2.5 divided by the probability that x is less than 3.5. So this is going to equal, and the area of the purple region we can find using the area of a trapezium, or we can do the area of a larger triangle minus the area of a smaller triangle. And either way that you do that, you find that it is 3 divided by 8 in size. And then we're going to divide that by the probability x is less than 3.5, which was the answer to part A, which was 5 on 8. And we find that that is equal to 3 over 8 multiplied by the reciprocal instead of dividing, so multiplied by 8 over 5, which is simply equal to 3 over 5. So that is the answer to part B of this question. So from the examiner's report we can see that this question was again challenging for students, with only 14% of students getting both marks for this question. And the report goes on to state that the majority of students were aware that the probability of x being less than 2.5 intersecting x is less than 3.5 was the probability of just x is less than 2.5. However, a few students did express it as this, which is not correct and not acceptable in an exam. More correct expressions for the numerator were evident than for the denominator.